Hey everyone, this is HerotonAlmighty 2011. Welcome back to more Kirby Air Ride on the Star Trio, where it's just me again. You guys are probably getting tired of me just doing this solo stuff for the channel, but yeah, still don't have enough content, especially because well, Team Dark's being a real bitch in Sonic Heroes because we only do like one video per week since Team Dark's been kind of really difficult to record because, like, the last recording session, you probably noticed we had to split it up into two parts because that's how long it actually took, even with me editing and everything. In any case, we are up to the meat of Kirby Air Ride. I almost said Team Trial. City Trial. For those of you who played Smash 4 for 3DS and may be making the parallel saying, this looks a lot like Smash Run. Yep, this is where it came from, and it's kind of funny because apparently I was the only person in my group of friends that played Kirby Air Ride growing up, because the moment I saw City Trial, well, wow, I'm getting my thing mixed up now. The moment I saw Smash Run, there we go. The moment I saw Smash Run, I was the only one excited for that feature just because I played City Trial before, so I knew what I was getting into. It was basically the same thing except for fighting instead of actually, racing around getting stuff. In any case, this is City Trial. I kind of talked over the tutorial, and I'm playing as Chocolate Kirby here. It looks delicious. I kind of talked over the tutorial here, but City Trial, essentially, like I said, if you played Smash Run before, you essentially know how it works, but I'll explain it really quickly. You go around essentially a sort of a hub world that the city, that the city is, and you start off with the Compact Star, which is essentially a really weak version of the Warp Star. You have stats that are determined by a few things, such as flight, charge power, power, defense, attack, weight, and HP. Oh, and also turn and everything. And boost. I believe I covered all of them. Essentially, you go around collecting power-ups to increase your abilities. I think you can max them out in one session if you're lucky enough. I forget what the max level is, but in any case, you're doing all this because at the end of City Trial, your maxed out board will be able to compete inside what we call a a stadium event, which they won't be shown off in this part of the commentary. However, they'll be shown in the next part, where there are, I believe, like 30 something stadium events that all range from gliding around to like gliding around to hit the targets, to Kirby Melee, where you have to defeat as many enemies, to Destruction Derby, where you have to kill your enemies, to the final boss of this game, which is King Dedede. Well, a non-playable version of King Dedede, which I mentioned before that he is in the game files, and essentially he plays the same, except having, like, a ton of health and everything. But in any case, you don't want to grab the gray ones because they're obviously downgrades and whatnot. Although, me personally, I always downgrade my weight because why would I ever need weight in something unless I'm purposely trying to stay on the ground? I mean, this is Kirby Air Ride. You're supposed to be flying around and shit. But in any case, you don't have to keep the Compact Star, although it's completely possible. Oh, I'll get into that in a minute. You're supposed to go around and see if you can find a better air ride, or inside red boxes, which the blue boxes contain, the upgrades and downgrades. The red boxes usually contain a copy ability, and green boxes contain a trap that you can set for your opponents, ranging from Gordos to a time bomb. Sometimes within the red box, you will see a legendary air ride machine piece, which I just encountered there. And there's another one, but I missed it because I got sucked into that little vent there, so I have to rush back and go get it. I'm sorry, like, it's a bit scatterbrained. Again, I've recorded this, like, a good while ago. But in any case, yeah, inside, I'm getting really lucky in this one, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Inside some of these red boxes, sometimes you'll find a piece for the legendary air ride machine. Two of them exist, which at first, back in the day when the internet was scarce and everyone believed everything, kind of like Chris Chan, it was believed that there was 3 legendary air ride machines, but it was disproven, like, quite literally like a few months later after that got posted. The 2 air ride machines consist of the Hydra and the the Hydra and the Dragoon. The Hydra is one of the best offensive air ride machines in the game, where it starts off basically completely slow and you have to take at least a good minute to charge it. But when you do, you're essentially a walking tank, as nothing can stand in your way, and you have the largest amount of HP in the entire game. So much so that your HP meter actually goes off the screen. as funny as that sounds. And the Dragoon, again, this is something that's in Super Smash Bros. That you guys might recognize. It's the ultimate flying machine, save for the Flight Warp Star that you get in City Trial Free Run. It flies for essentially forever, because there's never going to be a time where you don't need to use it to fly. And yeah, here we go. I got the Hydra. The Hydra, essentially, like I said, is a living tank, where once you charge it up, nothing can stop you. And also, this music playing right now, the Legendary Air Ride Machine, is the song that plays, obviously, when you get it. So, essentially, and you see my HP bar, like I said, going off screen, I essentially won the City Trial. City Trial you can set to about a maximum of 7 minutes, but it goes by so fast, you don't even notice that you're almost wasting all that time. See, we're almost done with the City Trial, actually. We only have 40 seconds left. But, yeah, I got the Hydra, and essentially I just won this. Well, so long as it's not flight, flight target and everything, I essentially won the City Trial. One thing that you can do during City Trial also is that you're able to, oh yeah, I got another piece of Dragoon. I don't think it's this recording, because I did 2 samples of the recording for a City Trial because of showing off both the air ride machines. But I actually got them both in one go. And yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing like a fusion between the two of them, even though that'd be really cool and really broken when I think about it. But, okay, no, it wasn't during this one. It's the next one. But I got both of them on my first go. And because there's no fusion, I wanted to show off what the Hydra looked like first and then the Dragoon. And I'll talk more about the stadium event when we actually do the extra video where we do the stadium events. But, yeah, during this recording session, the first thing that I showed off, that City Trial, that's not the main music that plays during City Trial. It's actually the alternate music. But I showed this off first because I showed off getting the Hydra, and then my next recording of City Trial, which comes after we do the stadium event, is I actually got both of them in one go, but I chose the Dragoon instead because I already showed off the Hydra. I kind of, like I said, I wish they'd fuse, but that'd be really broken when I think about it. But you see how basically nothing is standing in our way now that we have the Hydra? Like, you still can die, but it will take a very long time for you to die with how much HP, defense, and attack you have because you're a living tank. But one thing that you can do during City Trial is that because you have an HP bar, it's very possible for your machine to get destroyed. There's no way to die in City Trial, quote-unquote. However, it is very, very possible that your air ride machine can be destroyed and you're stuck walking around. While you're walking around, you can still get hurt, but you don't have an HP meter, and Kirby essentially controls kind of like how he does in Melee, except in 3D, where you can walk around, you have a jump, and you can hover for, I believe, like six jumps. But, yeah, that mode basically exists just so you can go and search for a new air ride. And one thing that is helpful if you're having trouble searching for an air ride is that normally the icons for an air ride only show up when you're nearby them, but if you're in regular Kirby mode, the icon for a air ride will appear all around the map because they really want you to get back onto an air ride. So now we're starting the next City Trial, where this is the one that I have the regular music, and this is also the one where I got both of the legendary air ride machines all in one go. My favorite air ride machine to use that I don't think I've mentioned before is the Jetstar, just because the Jetstar is somewhat slow on the ground, but it gets a huge boost when you're using it in air. And yeah, it's actually really fun to use, as well as me liking its design as well. Essentially, City Trial has a lot of references to a bunch of things too, and unfortunately I don't really show it off in this video, and I don't show it off for this entire playthrough, but there are events just like how there are in Smash Run, except the events affect the entire board. The events range from Dynablade coming down to wreak havoc, and you have to defeat Dynablade, which the reward, even though it's really hard to do, is essentially getting a bunch of buffs for your Kirby. There is a mysterious pillar that if you're able to break it, it's the same thing. You get a bunch of buffs for your character. There's the station fire, where all of the train stations here are set on fire, so if you try to fast travel around the area, you're going to die. There's the meteor strike, which levels the entire area by getting rid of trees and sometimes revealing hidden areas. But at the same time, if you're caught by that, obviously you die. I'll get back to that in a minute. One thing I want to talk about is that you saw how I lost a stat boost when I got onto this board. Sometimes when boards spawn, they spawn with low health because they haven't fully you know, like, appeared yet. So sometimes you'll lose some of your stats when you try to get onto a board prematurely. And also sometimes a board can outright fly away if you take too long to get onto it. As funny as it was, because there was one time that I actually got to, like, the Shadow Star when I was really hurting to, like, find a board, and it literally, like, flew away right as I was about to touch it. Anyway, the other events is that you have this guy called Tak, which is a stereotypical robber from, you know, like old Japanese animes, where he steals a bunch of items, and if you defeat him, he flies away, but he gives you a bunch of items. This isn't officially counted as an event that is, you know, given, like, you know, the siren warning, but sometimes a secret area will open up in City Trial, and if you do, like I said, you get a bunch of buffs for your character. But you have to pay attention to the urgent news on the bottom, which sometimes basically just warns you about what's going to happen in the stadium event. But that's where you're going to learn about what's going to happen into that's what wow, I'm getting really tongue-tied. That's essentially where you learn what's going to happen in the city itself, because sometimes a secret area will open up, and there's a piece of the Hydra. Unfortunately, we're not getting the Hydra in this one. We're going to get the Dragoon, spoiler. So, and I felt it fitting considering, you know, Kirby should get the Dragoon to end off City Trial because that's what he used in Super Smash Bros. But, another event is the Lighthouse, which we keep passing by in that section, will turn on, and it's kind of insignificant because the only thing that the Lighthouse actually does is that it just fully heals your Kirby, so long as you're underneath the light. Although the music that plays for it is actually really nice. Oh, there's an event happening right now. Ah, here we go. Yeah, Dynablade shows up. Unfortunately, I do not defeat Dynablade in this part because unless you really maxed out your stats, there's no way you're going to beat Dynablade because you have to run into its head, but at the same time it causes you damage. So unless you have the stats to back it up, there's no way you're going to beat Dynablade, so it's just best to avoid her. You can't, though if you have a Legendary Air Ride machine, that's basically an instant win for you there. In any case, another event is that there's a thick fog that goes around town, preventing you from seeing anything, with some really ominous music that's on par with the music that plays in Persona 4 when the fog starts to settle in, fittingly enough. Then there's also the fake items, where you have to make sure that you can see the difference between the crudely drawn items and the real items, because if you take the former, you get hurt or you get a debuff instead. Okay, I thought that was the time that we got the Dragoon or the Hydra. Like I said, I got all of them in this. It's just I only go for the Dragoon in this one. So in any case, then there's also the Rowdy engine, where all of your engines are maxed out, so you have no control of your air ride machine for a about like I think it's 50 seconds. I believe that's all the events afterwards. I can't remember anything off the top of my head after that. Well, no, there's one more event. The event of same item, where basically all the item boxes will have the same item, and there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, sometimes it's helpful if you're trying to go for something specific like Glide, or if you're trying to be a tank and it's nothing but HP. But, yeah, that's one of, like, the basic events that can screw you over if that's not what you're looking for. In any case, that's pretty much all there is to City Trial. City Trial is a fun distraction. It's basically the meat of what Kirby Air Ride is, and there's the last one. So now that we got the Dragoon, we don't have as much HP as we had with the Hydra, but essentially this is the best air ride in terms of casual because, like I said, it can fly forever, and look how fast that thing is, even without having max stats. And max stats, really, it's funny, because with max stats, the Legendary Air Ride Kachines, wow, I'm coming up with new languages for the... What the hell is wrong with me? I'm coming up with new words for the English language now. In any case, the Legendary Air Ride machines are pretty much uncontrollable if you have max stats for them. And also, yeah, you can go out of bounds with the Legendary Air Ride machines too if if you fly enough. And yeah, there's the last piece of the Hydra, but I'm not going for it because if you go on it, you essentially have to forfeit the Dragoon in order to get the Hydra because there's no Fusion Ha. Before, when I said that there was a theory, well, a rumor back in the day when this game first came out, before internet was a thing, that there was a third air ride machine called the Kraken, where you basically had to collect both legendary air ride machines in one session and then go into that river where the watermill is, and then you'll find the 3 pieces of the Kraken. This was disproven very early on, not just because, you know, I've done it before and nothing happened, but also it doesn't show up at all during the checklist, meaning there's no way that there would be a hidden machine that wasn't an achievement. So it was pretty much proven to be BS. As unfortunate as it is, because I kind of like the idea that there was a 3rd hidden machine if you were good enough to get all the machine parts in one go, which is what I did here. But if any case, like, now that I think about it, like I said, it'd be broken, but it'd be pretty cool to see, like, what the Dragoon and the Hydra look like fused. Like, if you guys want to do, like, fan art or something like that, then, yeah, by all means, go ahead, because, like, wow, when I think about it, like, that seems, like, really cool. And also, like I said, we pretty much won this, like, from the get-go, because we have the thing that can fly forever. So, in the next part of Kirby Air Ride, we're going to be talking about some of the stadium events, because it's going to be a 2-parter, since it's kind of hard to go over that, and I frankly don't want to talk for, like, 30 minutes straight. And again, I hope you guys are liking this short little mini-series. Like I said, we can't really get together all the time and record, especially with Nagi going into the military soon. So I know you guys kind of get annoyed at me just speaking, especially because, you know, you guys are following us for all 3 of us, not just me. If you want to just follow me, I have my own channel and everything. So, you know, I'm not trying to be, like, intrusive. I'm just trying to do stuff so that we actually have content. But, yeah, that's the end of City Trial. So, I hope I can see you guys next time for the stadium events as we wrap up Kirby Air Ride. See you guys then.